All right, everybody. Thank you for coming by. This is your Speak On It Sunday Night Football recap. I am your host, Podcast Poppy. I am with Big Brother Stephen Brett of the Sand Viper. Hello.
What's up?
And we are here to recap another week of football on the Sunday night slate like we do every week. The only difference is this week it's my team losing on Sunday Night Football and not Anthony's or anybody else's. So we could get right into this game because it's still fresh on everybody's mind because it literally just ended like 15, 20 minutes ago. So let's get your thoughts on the game first. Kansas City beats the Jets 23-20 on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, it's a matchup offensively. Defensively, you guys match up with them well because their weakness on their offense is your strength in your defense. Your secondary can handle theirs. They have bum wide receivers. And then all you got to do is you take away Kelsey, and then Kansas City struggles. Every time. If you're able, like your linebackers, your safeties, you're able to, because Kelsey was hot in the first drive, and then he literally didn't hear nothing from him until the fourth quarter. And that's what happens when they struggle all the time. But I will say this about your defense. You're getting run on a lot. And
yes, they play wide.
You're having a problem stopping the run. Last week, the week before, this week too. Your run defense shredded.
Last week, not a ton. The problem is the Jets play for the pass. They play wide nine, and they play for the pass consistently because every team we play on, they don't really try to run on us. They try to play. If you would have told me the Chiefs were going to try to run the football tonight, I would have laughed at you. I didn't think that's what they were going to do at all, and that's the only thing they really were able to do because Mahomes did not play a good football game.
He didn't play a good football game. He was forcing bad throws. There were two. He also had two drop. Well, one pick got dropped, and then another one was a BS penalty. That wasn't a defensive holding.
That was out of all the times you're going to call a defensive holding on Sauce Gardner. That's the one. That
was a bailout call.
And then he didn't even throw the flag until after their interception was caught.
One thing I'm tired of is these fucking referees. Get these referees off fucking TV. The retired referee that sits in the studio and never decides to disagree with the calls that their horrible former ref teammates fucking make in games. The best was Collinsworth called him out on a penalty earlier
on the safety. On the safety in the first quarter.
Yeah, on the safety in the first quarter. He's like, come on now. And then he literally, Terry McCulley stuttering. Well, it started, it tried to start in the backfield, but then
they tried to make it once his hand went into the face mask, pulled, and then
grab it till it went to the end zone. I'm like, get these guys off too. There's only one. Gene Steratore is the only one. He doesn't criticize him. He just goes, I wouldn't make that call.
There were like 5 penalty flags thrown on the last drive of the game where the Chiefs got the ball in the 8-minute mark, which allowed this drive to continue going. And there was one play in particular, since we're going to call a holding that doesn't exist, we're going to pull this play up. Right here. This play here was a illegal contact down the field penalty on a 3rd and 20 that Patrick Mahomes ended up converting. And I want you to watch this right here. But we're not going to call that holding. We're not going to call that.
Oh, yeah, that was holding.
But Sauce, they call that on Sauce, though. Like, that's ridiculous. A penalty that's not a penalty on an interception that saved the game. Like, that was the call of the game.
It was the call of the game, because outside of them running football, Pacheco hyped to be back home in Jersey.
Like, they had nothing going.
Juwan Taylor, is he going to get
starting every play?
But he's the most penalized lineman in the NFL, and by extreme measures.
The fact that we were in this game is incredible to me. It's absolutely incredible to me because we really didn't have any business being in this game. I knew the defense was going to do their thing. Literally, as soon as they put up 10, Mike sends a message to our group chat. And it's like, oh, it looks like this Jets defense really isn't a top 5 defense. It's like a top 10 defense. And then they immediately safety, interception, punt. Like they scored 6 points.
The defense is good. It's just they're having a problem stopping the run.
The defense is always on the field. This is the first game since week 1 where the Jets defense.
It was a good play call game, and it was a good defense to test because Kansas City defense really not there. They're an average defense. They weren't missing Nick Bolton, their best line.
Whatever. That wouldn't have made too much of a difference on that front. The problem is, and it's not even a problem, you look this good against Kansas City. If they could take the confidence that they gave Zach that didn't get taken away by that ref doing that penalty, and you bring it into Denver.
Because Spagnuolo at one point got scared to blitz.
Yeah. When they came out at halftime, they were scared to stack the box and blitz again.
And one other thing. Randall Cobb needs to go on the bench.
Randall Cobb does not need to see another fucking down of football.
Cole Hardman needs to get in the fucking game.
Like, he had one catch that he extended for the first down and shouldn't have seen the field ever again.
You ran 2 bunch formations to the left where there was one in the red zone and then one at before your last drive.
Yep.
And I already knew what the play was called. I texted you before it happened. I'm like, if they're going to line up in bunch formation and have Randall Cobb run a crossing route, if I know
it should be Hardman.
If I know what's being called, if I'm sitting at home knowing what play's being called.
Don't worry, I also knew it was being called. We all knew it.
Like, if Randall Cobb is running a crossing route, why not take Randall Cobb out and put Mecole Hardman in there to run there? Because he doesn't have any speed. He's not going to freaking Mecole Hardman. His speed is going to freak. Because what happened was when in the red zone, when Zach got the ball, he looked to the right. Cobb didn't even make it across the field yet. And he's covered. Like, corners all on him.
Cobb doesn't need to see it. You said it last week, too, and I've been saying this since the day we signed him. Cobb shouldn't be on this football team. He's only here because of Rodgers, and he only works with Rodgers. He doesn't work with anybody else.
Rodgers has receivers. James Jones, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson. They only work with Rodgers. When they go to other teams, they only work with Rodgers. And then later on, like the last series, before your last series, they came out in the same formation, bunch to the left. He runs across, and then boom, he's got the corner running with him. And then the safety's sitting right there too. So he's double covered. He's not outrunning nobody.
They only had 2 receivers go out on that play. So, like, our buddy Roz was just sitting there. He's like, I don't know why that was the choice to throw. I was like, there's only 2 receivers who ran around on that play. Like, I don't know what else you're supposed to do. He was open for a minute, like, for not even a minute, for like a second. You got to squeeze that throw in. And if he would have went up with 2 hands, he probably could have caught it. But instead, he did the thing where he extends one hand out and just kept it moving. It was frustrating because then you got to see, like, I love seeing Xavier Gibson play. Like, I love seeing anybody who's not Randall Cobb on the field. So if that means Xavier Gibson or Mecole Hardman are on the field, that means Randall Cobb's not.
Yeah, well, get these speedy guys on there. Sometimes you got to get the punt returner on there to do some plays with them.
To do something, and, like, those plays worked, right? So Jets fans have been calling for Mecole Hardman, Xavier Gibson, and Jeremy Ruckert to be more involved in the offense. And every time they were all on the field, good things happened. Right? Jeremy Ruckert had 2 catches for 26 yards. One of them was a big first down catch where he just caught it on dude's head top. If it's not Conklin, it needs to be Ruckert. Except for, like, that touchdown throw to Uzama was fantastic. And that's really all he's good for, because he's like...
You need more speed on the field. Because Lazard, he's a great run-blocking wide receiver. He's a great number 1 run-blocking receiver in the NFL, Lazard. You need Garrett Wilson out there. You need to get people to fear something. You put Mecole Hardman out there, just oh, shit, there's a fast guy on the field.
So, move the safety.
The safety's going to move. It's going to be better for Garrett Wilson. When you got Randall Cobb out there, the defense is not scared of Randall Cobb.
No. And I hope Hackett figures it out, but he's a Hackett guy.
Gibson, too. Put Gibson, Garrett Wilson, and freaking Hardman on that bunch formation. Guys that could go down the field, stretch the defense.
Who could beat you, could burn you. That's what I'd be doing.
Mecole Hardman can run a clear out route, and then Garrett Wilson's open in the middle of the field, and then make guys miss.
If this is the Zach Wilson I get for the rest of the year, I'm good.
I think Hackett simplified the offense today.
Yeah,
yes.
And it worked.
It worked. Keep it simple. Know his weaknesses, know his strengths. Throw more screens in there. You had some tight end screens.
Make it simple, make it easy, and it worked. And that's all I've ever asked for Zach Wilson, is to just do what is expected of you, right? If the play calling is simple, keep it simple, stupid, right? Don't overcomplicate something that doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Get the ball to where it needs to go. We see quarterbacks force feed receivers every week, right? Every team's force feeding a receiver. We have a guy you can force feed and who can make something out of nothing all the time. Like, it was refreshing to see that Garrett had 9 catches today, right? That should happen every week.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how he's getting those catches.
How many targets? Give him targets.
Because if Garrett's getting the ball, he's going to feel better. If Zach's getting Garrett the ball, Zach's going to feel better.
And if Garrett's getting the ball, the defense is going to shift towards him. That way you put Hardman on the field, you can get somebody open downfield, one-on-one coverage.
And then it also leads to your Allen Lazard touchdown.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about Garrett Wilson, who had a phenomenal catch that Janice came in and watched the game with us or with me. And he made a catch where he just had his knee on the ground, 1 foot extended, had the ball like just right there, and it just didn't move.
Yeah.
It didn't bounce at all. It just stayed there. And she's like, whoa, shit, that was cool.
Get Breece Hall in there. You start running, everything gets
so let's not use Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook looks washed. He looks washed. Yeah. And I get having him out there to do it, but like when Breece Hall's averaging 9 yards a carry.
You know what? You know what else it is? Dalvin Cook also missed training camp, most of training camp.
Well, so did Breece.
Yeah.
But Breece missed all of training camp. He was just working out. He wasn't doing football stuff until after the last game. So it's like Breece needs to see the ball more. Like, obviously, we needed to throw the football this game. This was the only way teams were going to not come out and stack the box right away. Right? The first thing that they were saying in pregame was, you got to run the ball, but it's hard to run the ball when you got 8 and 9 guys in the box. And that's what everybody keeps telling me, that they're just like, the Jets just need to run the ball. I'm like, if only it were that simple.
You got to dare them to throw.
Yeah, it's always, if only it were that simple, or just like, yeah, if you run the ball, it's all going to work. Like, it's fine. The problem is, Zach couldn't complete shit. When you get shit like this and you're like, all right, we're starting off the game with play action. Oh, wow. Okay. Didn't expect that. As long as Hackett stays away from, hey, we're going to run the ball twice and throw the ball on 3rd down, we'll be good. Like, there's a lot of growth to see, and there's a lot of growth to see against a good fucking football team. So now we go into our stretch where it's like, all right, we have Denver next. Where is it? Right here. Denver. Hold up. Where is it? Yep. Denver, Philly, Giants, Chargers, where we match up well against every single one of these teams. We just need to complete passes, and we need to be able to run. If Justin Fields could look like prime Peyton Manning until the 4th quarter, Zach Wilson should just be able to look like he did today. That's it. I don't need prime Peyton Manning. I don't need Joe Montana. I just need decent Zach Wilson, an average Zach Wilson, and we can win that game.
Just need average quarterback. That's all you need.
We just need average quarterback play. This game
you just need a 49 quarterback.
This game scares me because we don't stop running quarterbacks. So never have. In my lifetime, I've never seen us stop a running quarterback. But we can do damage. if we can't fucking play
I think
the
that
same way we did,
will be close. It's just you have to.
We have to run the football,
Your
and we
secondary,
have to.
yeah, your secondary matches up well with their receivers, and it's just all your trenches. Your trenches got.
And the Phillies' offensive line looks old, so it's like, all right, we have to be able to get some pressure on there.
Too.
So we need to be able to do that. But like these two games right here, the Broncos and the Giants, there's no way we can't get the same play we got out of Zach against these two teams. So, especially like, come on, 23-20 against the Chiefs. We shouldn't have even been in this fucking game. But yet, here we were, competing in the game. And that's really all I've ever wanted. I wish this Zach came to play last week. Because if this Zach came to play last week, we might see Matt get benched earlier. All right. Just before we move on, fuck the refs. They stole that game from us. Took it away from us. I didn't even get a chance to see Zach even have a shot because he was playing so well. That's why I'm wearing the Zach jersey, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm wearing my Zach Wilson jersey. Had to dig it out of my closet. But once he threw that touchdown to Uzama, that's what I was like, he's got it tonight. I'm a rock with him. Because this is all I've ever wanted from him. Now, when I go to physical therapy tomorrow morning, they'll be like, hey, maybe he could play quarterback. But again, I've been fooled by this too. I was fooled by the Steelers game last year.
And then,
Titans game the year before.
And getting wrecked by Chris Jones on like the last play before halftime when he tried to get a Hail Mary up. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Why? I'm like, why? I don't care. Why is he single block against Chris Jones? It's not going to happen.
Listen, Chris Jones is Chris Jones. It is what it is.
I don't want him one-on-one with anybody.
I don't want him one-on-one with anybody either, but
it
is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. Let's go. Let's talk Thursday Night Football. Giants at Packers. Apparently, Jordan Love recorded the lowest QBR like ever. It was like a QBR of 7, I believe. He played a terrible game.
He played a terrible game, but also a terrible game was called.
Yes.
Look, I know AJ Dillon. If Aaron Jones, if you're gonna dress Aaron Jones, he needs to be on the field more.
Yeah.
Once he's not out there, it's like AJ Dillon just makes the offense worse. He doesn't work. He's not. It doesn't work. He sucks. He sucks in this system. Who knows? He can go to another team and be good, but he doesn't work for the Packers here. There's nothing he can do. It's like Aaron Jones is not in there, and then LaFleur.
The team doesn't look well.
Yeah, LaFleur would. I'm just gonna tell you this. Aaron Jones played. I don't know how many snaps Aaron Jones played. AJ Dillon played probably like 80% of the game in fantasy football.
I have Aaron Jones, and I
AJ Dillon had 2 points, right? Aaron Jones had 1. So you mean it to 80% of the time he was on the field, he was 1 point better than Aaron Jones, who probably saw 20 snaps.
There was a point in this game where I think in the third quarter, or the fourth quarter, I'm sorry, it was before the Lions scored again, that I was like, oh, the Packers are back. Pack is back. And it looked like they're going to do their thing, and then the Lions came out and were like, yeah, no, never mind.
Also, Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari. David Bakhtiari's on IR. Elton Jenkins not being there. He's not getting protected, too. He's running for his life.
They need to play Aaron Jones. They need to play him.
Aaron Jones, now he's got 10 days rest. So, but if you're going to keep him out of this game on Sunday and then play 3 days later, and you got to keep him more in, he's the offense. You got to help. You got to help Jordan Love out, because Jordan Love wasn't really playing bad until this game. Then he kind of brought him back into it, and then he couldn't get
through an interception.
Yeah.
Lions are doing that malpractice thing where they play Jahmyr Gibbs a lot the game before, and then this week they go back to not playing him at all.
Or not giving him the ball.
Not giving him the ball. Like, he had 8 carries, and then no target and no catches. I'm not sure. It doesn't say here on the targets, but 8 carries total. He probably played a total of maybe 15, 16 snaps, but they insist on using David Montgomery. Like, I get it, but like he had 32 carries.
When they get inside the red zone, they're going to use Montgomery.
Regardless, you have 32 carries. You're saying you can't give 10 more carries to, or you could, yeah, exactly. Like you may have paid Montgomery, but you also drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round.
But Christmas comes early for the Lions because guess who's available next week off of the new deal?
Gambling rules. JMO.
Jameson Williams is off his suspension early.
Listen, this Lions offense is already good. They're about to get a whole lot more electrifying when Jameson Williams comes because, boy, that boy's a Bugatti.
I do fear one thing for the Lions. Jared Goff is doing that thing he was doing when he was with the Rams, and you're like, maybe they're a quarterback away. They might trade back for Stafford.
Hey, until he starts losing them games, he's going to be there.
He was on a streak where he didn't throw any interceptions, and now he's been week to week to week, and they've all been bad.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Well, the problem is the Packers couldn't do nothing because Matt LaFleur was a bad play caller. He was calling terrible that game. Offensively.
All right. Let's move on. Did you watch this game?
Yes.
I did not, so please. Please let me know, because from what it sounds like and from what I saw on Twitter and from the box score, nobody really liked Desmond Ridder this game.
Desmond Ridder, okay, so this is what happened. So Jaguars look good this game, but there's something. They're missing Zay Jones, but Zay Jones don't really matter. Offensively, Doug Peterson, they could have scored more points. Doug Peterson, at one point, they were up like 10-0. They were like inside their 10-yard line. It was 4th and 1. Doug Peterson, instead of kicking the field goal, not Doug Peterson, because he's letting the offense coordinator press whatever his name is, call the whole game now. And on 4th and 1, terrible play call. Guess what? They don't score anything. Stop at 4th down. So Desmond Ridder comes out. The Falcons need a quarterback, and Arthur Smith needs to go because he's targeting Jonnu Smith. Kyle Pitts is there. Jonnu Smith is out targeting all those first-round draft picks you've got in the top 10 picks the past 3 years.
Jonnu Smith is a Arthur Smith guy, though. That's a Tennessee Titan.
Yeah. Bijan Robinson is the shit because Bijan Robinson was having his way. But so Desmond Ridder threw a pick 6. The very next play, he threw a pick again and almost a pick 6. But the guy fumbled, but Jacksonville recovered it anyway. And they walked away with a field goal. The Falcons are in trouble. It's like the 2-0 start screwed them over. Now they need to go in tank mode, get one of these quarterbacks because their defense couldn't stop nothing. But what Jacksonville needs to one complaint about Jacksonville offensively. Travis Etienne is a good receiver. They need to start using him in the pass game. And Trevor Lawrence.
Last year, Travis Etienne, when they were using the pass game, that's when they were on this run.
Yeah.
Of just winning game after game.
They're not using him like Bijan, how Atlanta was using Bijan today is the same way Jacksonville should be using Etienne. Unfathomable. But this game was over when it started.
I saw some of the Disney game, like some of the clips for the Disney game, and that shit was cool as hell. That shit was cool as hell. Everyone was like, yo, we should get this game instead of Madden.
That's why I text you. So your kids better be watching the Toy Story game.
I was knocked out. I was not awake yet.
The only problem was Booker was calling the Toy Story game.
Oh, then yeah, I'm good.
The regular game was Fowler, Riddick, and Orlovsky.
Okay, that's not bad. All right, let's move on to a game that I didn't think was going to go to overtime. Colts Rams. Anthony Richardson played himself a little bit of a game.
He did.
But Matt Stafford did that thing.
the Rams offense stalls, because you could tell the difference between the Colts offense this week and last week. How Minshew, because also Minshew also knows the offense, but is a better thrower. But you can use Anthony Richardson as Jalen Hurts, except for the throwing part is his one thing he struggles at. But Puka is triple crowning right now.
They said what the announcer at the end of the game on the Puka Nakua catch. He says Puka Nakua. It means no worries.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I enjoy that.
Because even the thing in the overtime, they're like, "Oh, they go to Puka right here," and they go to Puka, and I told you to go to Puka. And they just score a touchdown.
Like, if you're the Colts, how do you not know they're going to Puka Nakua?
He's doing everything. He's basically doing Cooper Kupp shit.
Exactly. It's when it's the same thing with Cooper Kupp. It's like if you're the Bucks on that playoff game where Cooper Kupp ran that one route right past the safety and it was just touchdown. How do you not know he's trying to go to Cooper Kupp?
Yeah.
Like it's the worst kept secret in the world that Stafford gets like this.
Have like one of the secondary is bad. So every week they give up bad numbers of receivers. Totally.
Next week the Colts have the Titans. So we will see how that will go, because our resident Titan fan was laughing at the idea of losing to the Colts.
Oh, it's a real possibility.
It's a real possibility if Anthony Richardson does that thing where he just kind of looks pretty good and then decides he's going to run, looking like my Anthony Richardson on Madden. Ravens, Browns. This game sucked.
Yeah, I changed my pick when I found out breaking news Deshaun Watson was out, and I'm like, oh, Ravens.
I never was picking, even if Deshaun played, I was not picking them.
Here's the thing, though. These preseason superstars, don't ever fall in love with preseason superstars, because they run base shit in the preseason. And DTR was one of the main preseason guys. That's looking good. He looked like a fucking MVP in the preseason.
Don't worry, we'll get to another one of those preseason MVPs later.
When it's time to play, not his fault. I don't know what
not his fault. He's not ready.
What Stefanski was.
he's not ready. I do think DTR has a lot of potential. I think he will be good. I think if he sits a little bit longer behind Deshaun Watson, he'll be all right. But even if Deshaun played, I'm not.
Stefanski should have leaned on the run game this one and use him in the run game. It should have been running zone reads and, Kareem Hunt and Ford. Ford has been good the past 2 weeks. Use them. You're asking too much pressure for him. He wasn't even supposed to play. To help your receivers, and Elijah Moore had one of the worst.
Oh my God.
Where he lost like 30 yards. I'm like, what are you doing?
Amari Cooper only had one catch. Like, it was just a tough game overall. And then here the Ravens are just doing that thing where they're just going to just fucking run the ball down your throat.
Have all these injuries. You have to help your quarterback out. You got to help DTR. Like, run the ball, sprinkle some zone read. Run what the Ravens used to do against them. DTR is a mobile quarterback. You could do that shit. You don't have Deshaun Watson. You have to change the game plan up.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, I think the reason DTR is there is because he's similar to Watson, but you're trying to keep it the same as opposed to just like, hey, I know you're really good at this one thing. We're going to like do what you're good at, even if it's only for like a week. Lamar Jackson really giving you a chance to win.
Jackson, like 3 dimes in this game. Was chef's kiss. The one to Andrews was all.
Yeah, Mark Andrews one was awesome.
Zay Flowers one where he was running. Oh.
That was awesome.
And there was another one to Andrews is like chef's kiss. Want to throw the ball more.
And he's looking good doing it. Panthers, Vikings, the Battle of the Suck Bowl. Somebody's had to go.
Frank Reich. In the beginning of the game, Kirk Cousins throws one of the worst pick sixes I ever seen in my life. And then the best part about it is he's hustling to make the tackle, and then he gets sent on his ass by another defender blocking the guy for a touchdown. And then, okay, so the Panthers, Frank Reich was calling a good game in the beginning, in like the first quarter, and then shit fell in the second quarter. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I will say, Miles Sanders needs to sit on the bench. They do well. They do well when Hubbard's in there.
Yep.
Instead of Miles Sanders, like they need to get. I know you paid Sanders, but Hubbard's the one you got to go to.
Yeah, eventually you have to do the thing where it's like the hard coaching thing where it's like, hey, I know we paid you a lot of money, but we got to go with the guy who's actually performing. And it sucks, but I think that will happen a little bit later into the season. You're going to want to get a little bit more of a body of work.
There were some flashes in the game like, RPOs, he's getting the ball out quick. Boom, 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 boom. And then he just stopped them. What are they doing? And then Bryce Young made a play where he just escaped the defense. They act like he stopped right at the line of scrimmage, threw a dime to Thielen. I'm like,
there's a lot of those today. A lot of those type of touchdown throws say about stopping right at the LOS and just dumping it off.
The line of scrimmage dumped it to freaking Thielen. The offensive line needs to get better.
Let's move on to
Panthers be okay.
Let's move on to Bengals Titans. Titans win 27-3. Joe Burrow should not be playing football.
He can't play. He
got so noticeable.
He got smacked today.
He got killed all over the place.
And Tennessee was able to run the football, and you know what happens. There was one drive where Tennessee called 5 play actions in a row. Ryan Tannehill is only good when you can
when the run game gets going.
Play action. You run 5 play actions in a row. That's what Ryan Tannehill does. He needs play action. He cannot play quarterback without play action.
Yeah, he needs the defense to fear Derrick Henry. Yeah. You have to get the team to commit to the run so you can play action and get your way up. Oh, single high safety, bet. Like nickel and dime you up on play actions. But Derrick Henry was the thing.
Guy open.
Derrick Henry was that guy.
He doesn't throw guys open. He gets play action guys open.
Derrick Henry was that guy that we've always wanted him to be and has struggled to show us this season. But it just all goes back to the Bengals, man. It's Joe Burrow should not be playing. Not even the Bengals defense to me. It's if the Bengals are able to put points on the board, you may have to look at it a little bit differently in how the Titans call this game because the Titans did the thing they normally do, which is just, hey, we're going to ball control you to death. We're going to make it incredibly difficult for you because we know you can't go down and score.
The game plan offensively has got to change. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, especially Tennessee can't cover a freaking fly. I know T. Higgins fractured a rib, but you still have Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, after the game, is like, I'm open. I'm always fucking open. So are we going to – we said this last week. Put Joe Burrow on the bench until he's healthy because you could win. These 2 games are winnable games, and you lost a winnable game, with an injured Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow left with who has a shoulder injury now to go with his fucking calf.
Like, I just don't understand when enough's enough. Like, cool, we know the offensive line's bad. All the Titans did was send 5. They were giving nothing but 5-man looks on the line, blitzes. They were killing Joe Burrow. And that's the one thing you didn't need to do. Like, Joe Burrow being out there isn't like having Emmitt Smith out there with like a dislocated shoulder, right? It's put the donut in there and like tape it up. We're going out there. I'm just gonna be a distraction. Like, your quarterback can't be a distraction. Your quarterback actually has to play. So I don't understand why they're not just like, hey, like I understand why, because they don't want to lose games, but you're going to lose games because your quarterback can't throw past the line of scrimmage. That's literally their offense. 20 for 30 for 165 yards. If you're throwing the ball 30 times and you have less than 200 yards, I'm sorry, there's a problem.
He's a mobile guy.
And it's not a Joe Burrow. It's not a Joe Burrow sucks problem. It's hey, Joe Burrow's hurt. And I'm not going to use that as an excuse as to why he's playing bad, because I'm very much so of the mindset, if you're hurt, don't play. but he shouldn't be playing.
We knew what this calf strain could do because it's always limiting his mobility, and he can't. His offensive line already sucks, regardless of all the upgrades they made, and they're not going to get any better because they just paid Burrow, and did Higgins get a deal, or he's not?
Higgins still has no deal, but you know what's going to happen. Burrow's going to, we're going to sign my whole year's salary as a roster bonus so we could pay T.
Yeah, it only works for some of it, but
it'll work for enough because there's going to be guys who come off the books every year who will be able to.
They already lost Jesse Bates in Atlanta. The defense is going to suffer.
Yeah, but
stop nobody right now.
You could afford to lose a safety. Whether it's like a top safety in the NFL or not, that's a position you could afford to lose. Let's move on. Bucs Saints. Baker was really good. Baker played himself a game. And Lattimore was struggling with Mike Evans today.
And then Mike Evans got hurt.
And I was pissed.
Yeah.
Because I got fantasy, so fuck me, right?
Lattimore usually wins that freaking duel.
He does, but Mike Evans was like, I'm not here for it today. And Lattimore was doing the most. Lattimore was tackling Mike Evans on routes. Because Evans beat him. That was a touchdown. If he doesn't get fucking tackled like 3 yards down the field after that route, that's a touchdown. No doubter. Bucs win 26-9. Derek Carr. It speaks to how little they trust Jameis Winston that they would let Derek Carr go out there with a sprained AC joint and not win this football game.
Well, Jameis Winston did come in.
And his first pass was an interception.
He doesn't play for Tampa no more. Jameis, what the heck was that?
Even when he was with Tampa, he couldn't throw to Tampa.
Not only that, it's the return of Kamara, too.
Yeah, Kamara didn't play like awful, but they got him involved a ton, right? 11 carries, 51 yards, 13 catches for 33 yards. Like, he was involved a lot. You could tell Derek Carr shouldn't have been playing, but they really don't want Jameis Winston playing. I'm sure Jameis is a great guy. Great guy. He's probably a great teammate, but man, I do not want him nowhere near starting quarterback, man, because he's infuriating. And I'm glad the Jets aren't going to go get him because I would be horrendous. What's next? We got Dolphins Bills. So the Dolphins played a good defense and couldn't boat race them. So we saw what it was. And then also the Dolphins played a competent offense. And they got boat raced.
Here's the thing about the Bills defense is designed to stop fast offense.
It's designed to stop the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, the Dolphins, they got the safeties back there. All the speed guys, like the offenses like that, the Bills defense is designed to stop. When the Bills defense they struggle against physical teams running the ball. That's why Tennessee always they have a hard time with Tennessee. They have a hard time running the ball. But Miami, Kansas City, all those teams, if you're not physical, if you're gonna play surf and turf, you match up well with them because they got the safeties. Now, even though Boyer didn't play, Hyde did.
I was explaining to Anthony because Anthony was like, "Whoa, I did not expect the Dolphins to do this," and I was like, "I did." Because we didn't really know how good the Dolphins were. I'm not saying the Dolphins are a bad football team, right? It's just we don't really know how good the Dolphins were because week 1, who would they play?
Oh, they played. Who did they play week 1?
The Chargers. Right? So week 1 they played the Chargers. The Chargers defense is sus, but that was a back and forth game, right? Week 2, they play the Patriots. The Patriots did the thing you're supposed to do and stop them from beating you deep, but you couldn't stop the run. But you played an anemic offense.
Yeah.
So they didn't really get the chance to play a team that is like at least average on both sides of the football. They played a team who's above average on the offensive side, bad on the defensive side. You have a team that's good on the defensive side, bad on the offensive side. And then you play the Broncos, who are bad on both sides of the football. Bad on both sides of the football. And then you run into the Bills, who are great on both sides of the football. Like, well, I think the Bills are ranked like the number 3 defense in football right now.
Well, Miami always struggles. Is Miami every time? So Tua throws the ball in the middle of the field. That's where everything.
That's where he likes to go.
You take away all the teams that he struggles against, like struggling against 49ers. You got Fred Warner, Bills,
Milano. And then over the top, you have Jordan Poyer, who didn't play, but you still have Micah Hyde on the other side.
Micah Hyde, yeah. So they have the safeties back. And all the corners can know they have the safeties back there.
And the Bills' corners are good.
Yeah.
Now, not so much because you lose Tre'Davious White, with which seems, I think, is the 3rd torn Achilles of the year.
Yeah, but he's been injured the past 2 years anyway, and they've been like number 1 against the pass without him before.
Yeah, but it sure hell makes it a lot better when you have top 10 corner in football playing.
Down the freaking corner.
Mm-hmm.
What they do, you take Tua Tua can't throw down the middle of the field, get a quick ball, then their offense struggles. He's going to get sacked. Plus, their offensive line. We know their offensive line is shitty.
Yeah, he doesn't have the strength to get the ball deep if the middle's taken away, and the offensive line doesn't give him enough time to get that off anyway.
Tyreek Hill's in the middle, Waddle's in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. They always have.
If you could cover the middle and then the outsides, you're fine.
And then they have the one deep shot they normally take. So, yeah, because you can't play one-on-one with those guys. Force them, bottle their ass in.
So it's in even running the ball. They did well running the ball. Like A-Chain had 100 yards on 8 carries, and they still had other guys 14, 10.
A lot of garbage yards at the end.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the game, but still, like they should have been able to start off running the ball well. And I wish McDaniel would have noticed that right away, but I think they couldn't handle the pressure up front.
Yeah. And this is without Von Miller.
Yeah. Like, what was it? Brandon, our buddy, who's a Dolphins fan, was talking about. He was like, "Oh, well, if we beat them, then we beat them without Von Miller." And I'm just like, "Listen, they have guys. Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau are good.
Yeah, and Leonard Floyd getting in there.
Leonard Floyd is good too. Like
freaking havoc for them.
And it's only going to get worse when Von comes in, because then you're going to be sitting there rotating guys.
They basically have the fucking Rams thing, but minus Aaron Donald. They have Leonard Floyd, Von Miller.
And then you have Greg Rousseau. And you're just going to be rotating guys, and you may have lineups where all 3 of them are on there. All 3 of them on there. Ed Oliver's getting pressure up the middle. Then you have a blitz of Floyd, Von, and Rousseau on the edge.
Because they can run the ball, but Miami's not a physical running team.
No, they're a zone block scheme run team.
That doesn't mesh well with Buffalo's defense. Watch.
Buffalo's defense is punch you in the face.
Kansas City struggles against Buffalo. But when they play physical teams that run the ball, that's when Buffalo's defense struggles.
That's why they can't, like, for whatever reason, they can't stop the Jets running the football. Like, there's always your teams in the division that you just can't play well against.
The Jets played Josh Allen is like the only team that plays him really well.
There's not a single defense that makes Josh Allen like look so flustered. There's only us. We're the only team that fluster him. And it's just like, if you see what we do, you can do it. It's just the problem is we send waves and waves. And what we did to Josh Allen, we did to Pat Mahomes today. We sent waves and waves and waves. He didn't have it easy. That's why he had a bad game.
Mahomes looked bad.
It's crazy that we make the really good quarterbacks look like human, but then Mac Jones hits us with a 45-yard touchdown.
Mac Jones just had that one throw. The only one that really
that's it. They didn't have a single snap in the red zone that game. You know that?
The only one that really tore your defense up was Dak.
Yeah, but that was to be expected.
He still wasn't under 3. It's still not over 300 yards.
Yeah, and that was to be expected. Like, you have a great offensive line. We couldn't get pressure. If we can't get pressure, then sorry. Like, it is what it is. Let's move to the supposed suck bowl that turned out to be the best game of the week. Who would have thought a game of 2-0-3 teams was going to be the best game of the week? Like, I don't get it. Like, Justin Fields goes from being this broken quarterback
Justin Fields went from being shit on all week, and he had like 2 incompletions by the middle of the third quarter. Only 2 incompletions.
He was awesome. And then the fourth quarter came around, and he started doing Justin Fields things.
The Broncos defense is that fucking bad. It's literally, if Pat Surtain's not on anybody, we're going to attack everybody else. They can't get a pass. It's just ridiculous.
It's the whoever offense. It's whoever's not covered by Surtain.
And then the Bears do what Bears do. Hibernate in the wintertime.
Just like they had some shitty play calling, but then you had that fucking fumble by Justin Fields. That was just like, Justin Fields has already fumbled. I don't know if you know this stat, Steven. So not counting this season or not counting this past week, Justin Fields has fumbled the ball like 30-something times in his career.
That's what tend to see what happens is when running quarterbacks always fumble the most. So when he didn't really run this game, but that one he didn't get protected neither. So it's like he had one guy coming behind him,
and he tried to throw it and it slips out.
Yeah,
that's just like, you can't do that. And Mike is of the belief that if he fumbled the ball, but he didn't like turn the ball over, who cares? No, that's not how that goes.
That's not the problem. Is at the end of the game, Matt Eberflus, Chicago is in field goal range. They're like, what, 25, 30, somewhere there. It's 4th and 1. Kick the field goal because Denver's going to fuck it up. The worst thing that happens, you go to overtime, tied 31-31. One of these guys, analytics loses you football games. Well, analytics doesn't. The guy goes, wait, if you make this, you got an 88% chance to win this game. If you go for a 4th down here. Analytics doesn't take, in fact, the play you call or the feel of the game. You got to score at 8. 3 points is better than 6. Well, 3 points is 6 points. At 4th and 1, 3 points. You take the 3 points, you make them drive down the field.
Yep.
Because then they kick a field goal, you're both tied, you get the ball back, and you go in overtime, blah, blah, blah. And now you get put in a bad situation where Justin Fields throws an interception at the end of the game, but because he's forced into that situation.
I still think Sean Payton owes Nathaniel Hackett an apology because in 2 games, the Broncos defense has allowed 98 points.
I will say this. It's not really Sean Payton's Vance Joseph. I will say this. Russell Wilson hasn't really been that bad. He's been average. He's been okay.
But that's not what you need out of Russell Wilson.
But he's not.
The play that I'm getting out of the play that Russell Wilson is giving is what I expect out of Zach Wilson.
Yeah. But he's not losing them games.
He's also not winning them games.
Yeah, well, yes. He's not the reason they're losing.
Part of the problem, though.
Yes.
He's part of the problem, but this game was not won because of him. This game was very much so won because of the defense that gave up 20 points ASAP.
They need to use P. Ryan more receiving now, especially since Williams is hurt. I'm like, what are you doing? Sean Payton, you're supposed to use him like Kamara.
The Bears tried to say that Claypool decided to stay home, and then it came out that the Bears told Claypool to stay home so they could try to trade him. They said, hey, stay your ass home. We don't want you here anymore.
They want a fit 6 and a 7 for that.
They'll get a bag of chips and they'll like it. Like, I don't know who's going to trade for him.
Well, they're asking for a 5th-round pick. They know he's trash.
Like, I don't know who's going to try to trade for him. He's a malcontent. Like, how do you trade for a guy who got traded from Pittsburgh for this reason? Like, you got traded from Pittsburgh for this reason.
Pittsburgh knows when to get rid of receivers.
They know when to find new ones.
Yeah.
Like they do it all the time. They've been doing it for, I don't know, my whole life.
They've been doing it at least the past
20 years.
20 years. Yeah.
They've been doing it the past 20 years. They know when to draft receivers, how to groom them, how to develop them, and then it's like, hey, we're going to determine whether we're going to keep them or not.
Been there since Ben came.
Well, Hines Ward was before Ben.
Because I can't remember a receiver freaking Cordell Stewart had.
Hines Ward.
Yeah, at the end. When was Hines Ward drafted? It was 99?
Yeah, Hines Ward's 99.
Yeah, towards the end of Cordell.
Well, yeah, towards the end of Cordell. But then you go Hines Ward, Plaxico Burress, Antonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, fucking Juju Smith-Schuster, fucking keep going. Like, there's a million of these guys who just live there. Emmanuel Sanders. They just know what they're doing. Let's move on to Commanders-Eagles. This game showed me that if you have an aggressive front, Philly can be fucked with.
Yeah, because it's best on best right there. The Washington, the commies, four down linemen against the Eagles offensive line is an even match. So you
yep.
Yes.
Sam Howell played a pretty damn good football game. To the best of the ability. You mentioned it earlier in our chat where we're talking. Multiple wide receivers gives this team problems.
Yeah, multiple wide receivers gives it. Any team with, or not even multiple, a good wide receiver gives this team problems. They can't cover nobody. Terry McLaurin having a day. Slate, what's his face? Bradbury. I was like, multiple wide receivers gives this team problems. I'm like, especially if they weren't getting their defense wasn't stopping nothing. Oh, and they couldn't stop the run neither. Robinson and Gibson were giving them freaking headaches.
They had this was a very good game. What is it? Hold on, let me go to the Jalen Hurts stats here. 25 for 37, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns. AJ Brown balled. That's the Commanders don't really have corners.
Yeah, they don't have corners.
Kyle Fuller.
I think
totally Kyle. Yeah, totally Kyle. Kyle Fuller.
Well,
I think is their number one.
Jalen Hurts had Devontae Smith bail him out of a bad throw too.
Yeah, there was a couple throws that also should have been picked off. That was like, come on, Commanders. Like, I like the Commanders. I have to hate them because Anthony thinks Commanders are very good. So it's like, even if I want to root for the Commanders, I fucking can't. Because then Anthony's gonna be like, I told you about the Commanders.
Because they had the lead, and somehow drove down the field and tied that shit. Shock Riverboat Run didn't go for 2.
I also was.
That might have been the play. You're on the road.
He said the only reason they didn't go for 2 is because he thought his offense was tired.
That defense was tired. You could have ran.
That's not the Riverboat Ron that I know.
Yeah.
There's not many Puerto Ricans in football, and he's making us look bad.
And then you know what's going to happen? Next week, he'll go for a 4th and 7 and on the 25-yard line and be like, oh, Riverboat Ron.
Because the commies have that tough stretch. Okay, so after the Bears and the Falcons, they have the tough stretch of games. Because the Giants game, the Giants suck, but that's a division game. The Commanders couldn't beat the Giants last year. They all, they tied.
No, but I think they can win that game.
I think the Commanders can win that game too. If they have this healthy front versus that Giants offensive line, wrap. Because Chase Young,
Thomas out with that freaking.
I think he's out for another 2-3 weeks. Saquon, I think, was just activated from practice, so I think he's going to start practicing again.
Because Saquon got downgraded.
But I know he's been practicing, so, or he's about to start practicing.
What's the communist schedule?
Next week they have the Bears, Falcons, Giants.
I'll give them they can go 2-1. They can go 3-0.
They can go 3-0.
Worst case scenario, 2-1.
Mm-hmm. With that one being the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pick them against the Bears because the Bears game is Thursday. And then who else?
Ooh.
Broncos.
Falcons, Giants, Eagles, Patriots.
Falcons, Ritter will.
Ritter's gonna die.
Sam Howell can't equal the freaking play of Ritter. That's what he can.
Yeah, that's all you. That's the floor. Texans, Steelers. Matt Canada needs to be fucking fired.
I think. Tomlin said after the game there's going to be some changes made. Matt Canada, he's predictable. Everybody knows what he's calling. He calls bad plays. I think Pickett's probably done for the year.
Yeah, they're checking. They have an MRI tomorrow on MCL
That
injury.
play, I'm like, oh, that was a knee. I'm like, oh, there.
And if you could get better play calling, you could win games with Mitch. Right? We've seen this. We've seen this happen. You could win games with Mitch as long as the play calling isn't absolute dog shit.
Because Matt Canada has been. Let me tell you, what was that game against Cleveland? It was like 3rd or 4th and 1 or whatever. It was the Sunday night. Oh, it was the Sunday night.
It was Monday night. It was Monday
night game. And they called a read option with Kenny Pickett. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then the crowd's like, fire Canada. Fire Canada.
Steelers fans fucking hate him. Rightfully so. Do you see Antonio Brown come out and talk shit about Matt Canada?
I don't know what he's doing. You know everybody knows the play. They got their ass. Remember when I texted you earlier this year in the draft, I said C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback in this draft. He's
been looking like it. He's been looking like it. I was very iffy on him because I didn't know how he was going to adjust coming into a team that's not Ohio State, that doesn't have the best of everything, and he's looking awesome. He's looking like they got the one person. The Jets went and got the one person out of the fucking Shanahan offense who can't call the Shanahan offense. When we got fucking Mike LaFleur. That guy's a fucking dork.
I don't know who D'Amico's play caller, but
it's another person from the fucking Niners offensive system.
Somebody that actually studied this. Not a LaFleur is like, I'm doing what my brother does.
Mike LaFleur was the run game coordinator. Whatever.
We don't know who the real offense coordinator of that team was. It was Kyle Shanahan. Anyway.
Yeah, it was Kyle Shanahan.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Yep. Shout out to South Park. Matt and Trey. C.J. Stroud was awesome. 60 for 30, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins, balled.
Yeah. So he's the number 1 receiver for them. Then what happens? Tank Dell last week was Nico Collins the week before. Then they got to rotate again. Oh, we got to cover this guy.
Steelers defense got me negative points in fantasy because they couldn't stop shit. I saw Minkah Fitzpatrick get a bullshit pass interference call called on him. And I was like, this game's over. This game's over. It was the JJ Watt game.
Oh yeah. Once Kenny Pickett went down, they're playing for Will Anderson with a fumble touchdown, I think. Fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Wanderson. Yep. We love it. Where is
4-way tie for the AFC South? First place. Who would have thought?
Raiders Chargers. Chargers win 24-17. The Aiden O'Connell era. When we got word yesterday on Saturday now about Jimmy Garoppolo having concussion, I immediately texted our resident Raider fan, Anthony, and I was like, listen, I don't know who you're going to go with, but you're probably going to go with Brian Hoyer because Aiden O'Connell hasn't even been dressed to play. And that would tell you where he stands in the depth chart. He goes, no, it's the Aiden O'Connell era starts tomorrow. I'm like, okay, so we got the confirmation that's Aiden O'Connell. I'm like, okay, cool. They're going to start Aiden O'Connell. I think that's a little mistake, but whatever. And every single time something bad happened on the offensive side of the football, I was just like, LOL, the Aiden O'Connell era. Aiden O'Connell era.
The Chargers are becoming this year's Vikings team from last year.
Yup.
And their coach is trying to lose them these games. Here's the thing. Khalil Mack resurrected his career today on the freaking. Josh McDaniels couldn't cheat on how to block Khalil Mack.
According to Anthony, Khalil Mack only gets up for the Raider games. He's like he's decent everywhere else, but like when he plays the Raiders, he has a chip on his shoulder. I'm like, I wonder why.
Quite possibly, but he wasn't. He was on the team last year. He had 6 sacks in a game.
Yeah, but he played well, but he didn't have this. And I was like, I wonder why he has a vendetta against the Raiders. Who would have thought? Maybe he was like, I don't know, arguably the best defensive player to play for the franchise. Who knows? He only was an all-pro at 2 positions in the same season. Who knows? And then he got treated like shit. It was kicked out for a bunch of losers who aren't even on the team anymore. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks today. 6 fucking sacks.
I'm like, oh, Mac. Oh, like, oh, he's got 6. He's got 6 sacks. How?
Well, so I don't even say the cool thing about Jimmy, but the thing about Jimmy Garoppolo that is underrated is he has hid very much so how bad this Raider offensive line is. Because he senses pressure, he moves.
Yeah.
He does, and that's something I will give him credit for. He senses pressure and then he moves. Aiden O'Connell doesn't have that yet. Aiden O'Connell went in and just ate every one of these sacks because he didn't have the pocket presence to understand. Like we may not sit here. I know you and I agree. We don't think Jimmy G is great, but he is like an average to below average quarterback when everything is like perfect for him. But he is a professional enough to know, like, he feels the pressure and he has great pocket awareness.
I think if Jimmy G was playing today, they probably would have won because Josh Jacobs was running all over him, and who benefits from that?
Jimmy.
Run? Jimmy G. He's a play action guy, just like fucking Ryan Tannehill. Fucking play action.
Brock Purdy.
Devontae. You're going to get Jacoby Myers open down the field. At some point, I know the 2-2, but I know Spanos are cheap. They got to fire this guy. There's no. This is the 4th week in a row. He's went for it on like 4th down and 1.
And has missed.
2 and short. And his bad judgment, he's missed every time. It's not even that. It's him and Kellen Moore, who does not know situational football as an coordinator. They always call the wrong play, and they always fail. They fail. They got away with it for the 2nd week in a row, but there's no way you can keep doing this. How do you call the wrong play every fucking time? You run a tush push with your quarterback who's bleeding and has a splint on his finger trying to play under center, who literally at the end of the game took a knee in shotgun instead of being under center. You called the fucking quarterback sneak tush push Philly play with his fucking hand that's fucked up, and you didn't succeed.
No, you want to know what really got me? End of the game, 4th quarter, Raiders just, I think it was like, they just got a first down in the red zone. Aiden, he hits Devontae Adams for a first down, puts them on like the 5 or the 10, whatever it is. Aiden O'Connell then drops back. They try to run a rub route. They tried to run a pick play because he thought it was man defense. He throws the ball to Joey Porter.
Yeah.
And instead of just going and just returning it, he slides.
Yeah, because the coach told him to fly. Brandon Staley told him to slide, and he slid. And it took Justin Herbert throwing a 50-yard bomb to get the first down in the game, where he could have just ran and scored the touchdown.
He only had to run by Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. And if
he only had to run by Aiden O'Connell.
When he went to the sideline, Staley was out there telling him to slide. Here's the thing.
Brandon Staley is the worst.
And he's paired up with the worst OC, Kellen Moore, who's does not know situational football. They come out first series, strike 7-0, 14-3, or 14-7, whatever it is. And then when you're up 2 scores, and I know Eckler's not there, You got to run the ball. You
Run the football. Run the football.
This is the problem with Kellen Moore. He's not good at situational football. Because if he's such a great offense coordinator, why are teams hanging around? You score 50 on them and be done with it.
I don't understand it. When he did that, in the moment, I'm just like, bro, what are we doing?
He'll call 3 deep passes in a row. He'll call 3 fucking streaks in a row. And then he calls too much the same shit in a row. And then he'll call first down routes to the 3 sticks in a row. This is the shit. And you wonder, see, what's going to happen is when Justin Herbert's going to get the same criticism Dak's going to have when he can't win games. And be like, oh, well, it's, and then you're going to be, oh, is it Justin Herbert or is it Kellen Moore?
Well, we already have somebody. So Mike already hates Justin Herbert. Mike does not think Justin Herbert's very good. I tell him he's crazy, but because they won that playoff game in Jacksonville because of Justin Herbert. Like, no, they lost. Never mind. They lost that game because they refused to run the ball. Yeah. That's why, right? I was using my Trevor Lawrence excuse because he said Trevor Lawrence also isn't a good fucking quarterback. So I was like, they won that game in Jacksonville because of Trevor Lawrence. The Chargers didn't lose because of Herbert. They lost because
football with me. I could teach him something.
they didn't lose because of Herbert. They lost because they decided to not keep running the clock.
Herbert just had his first turnover of the season today.
Speaking of which, there he is. Mike is there. They lost because of that bum Herbert. No, they lost because they didn't run the fucking football. Like, it's the Falcons. The Falcons would have beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl if they would have just run the football. You have to get the clock going. They decided not to just do the smart thing. When you throw incompletions, the clock doesn't move. And when you go to pass, all of a sudden you get sacked and you drop 10-yard loss on a sack. Now you're out of field goal range. And I think Herbert's leading the NFL in completion percentage.
Touchdown interception ratio.
His coach is a fucking big idiot. He needs to be fired. This is going to be the season. Mike, I don't know if you heard what we were saying previously, that this year's Chargers team is last year's Vikings team. And I think that is the most, like, Steve, that's all Steven. I'll give him all the credit for that because I'm running with that now. Like, that is the most accurate assumption I think I've ever seen.
Week in a row, you've come on 4th and 2 and 4th and short, and you've gone for it. And the 4th bad play, you failed all 4 times. And you got bailed out today. If Jimmy G would have played today, because Josh Jacobs was going, they probably would have won that game.
Or he would have continued to lead the lead in hospital balls.
Yeah.
Because, man, that's the one thing I will have the narrative I'm going to put. Because it's not even really a narrative at this point. It's just fact. He is just putting his receivers in harm's way whenever he plays football. However, the Aiden O'Connell era decided to make Anthony leave the bar he was at watching the game. He's like, yeah, I'm leaving. And then
There's no reason the Raiders should have been around in this game. They have Kellen Moore, bad play caller. Brandon Staley.
We agree.
Yeah. Brandon Staley is he calls their plays on defense. So he's the real defense coordinator. So your both coordinators are terrible. Yeah, Jimmy G definitely would have won the game.
The Aiden O'Connell era might have started and ended tonight.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Because, man, we were talking about earlier about those preseason players that everybody falls in love with. Let me tell you this. Aiden O'Connell in the preseason had like a perfect quarterback rating, like had a really high completion percentage, yada, yada, yada. Anthony was sitting there trying to talk to me about Aiden O'Connell, about how he's next. I'm like, Anthony, preseason does not matter. Preseason does not matter because you are playing
complicated shit.
You are playing against 4th and 5th string guys who are trying to make the team.
Stars are not playing. They're not playing. You got guys trying to make a team. Everything's got to be complex because they're not. You got to make your special teams.
That is not a good indication of what NFL football is. Do you remember Justin Fields' rookie year, what he said in the preseason? I'm surprised at how slow the game is. Everybody told me the game was supposed to be faster. Now look at you, Justin Fields. That's what happens when you make your preconceived notions based off of the fucking preseason. Raiders fans look a little silly now talking about how Aiden O'Connell's a guy. Maybe in a couple years, if he continues to sit behind somebody, he's going to be solid, because I saw a lot of good from him. I saw a lot of bad from him. But like that catch by Jacoby Myers that ended up coming back on a offensive pass interference because of the push off. That was all Jacoby Myers, because that ball should have been intercepted.
He could probably get rid of McDaniels.
Yeah, once you get rid of Josh McDaniels, but Josh McDaniels sucks. Like, if we're going to talk about the two worst head coaches of football, it's Josh McDaniels and it's fucking Brandon Staley. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Because what we're going to need to talk about is Mike, I know you're here, and I know you saw this in the chat earlier. I was told this Patriots team is supposed to be good. I was told Mac Jones is fucking good. I was told Juju Smith-Schuster is good at football. And I was told this Patriot offense led by Mac Jones and Bill O'Brien was supposed to be lethal. I would like to remind everybody at home and the people who are going to be watching this later, and everybody watching live, thank you for being here. McCorkle got benched today. They have gone away completely from what has worked and what works. If you are the Patriots, the only thing that worked for you guys last year was not McCorkle throwing the ball 20 times before halftime. It's run the fucking football. And as we see here, Mike has joined on the I'm out on Mac Jones.
Mac Jones scored more points for the Dallas Cowboys than he did
for the Patriots.
Team. And he literally had a meltdown today. And he got benched. He deserved to be benched. It was like probably one of the worst.
It's not even, I've been waiting all season for him to play like this. He has not been good. That's the thing. He has not been good. If Zach plays like he did tonight last week, they are 0-4. That's the only problem. They beat a team whose quarterback was ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, they only beat the Jets because for some reason everybody in the Jets staff is scared to go against Belichick.
I wouldn't even say it's scared. It's just the quarterback is scared of the Patriots. He's scared of everybody, but he's scared of the Patriots because the defense played. This Patriots team stinks. This Patriots team is good on defense, but they lost Judon.
They lost Gonzalez, too.
They lost Gonzalez for a while. He's got to get an MRI because he had a dislocated shoulder.
Gonzalez goes out of the game. The very first play, they put the backup on CeeDee Lamb.
Touchdown.
I'm like, oh, is it no help? Touchdown. No help? Touchdown. And guess what? It doesn't count as a red zone touchdown because it's at the 25-yard
line. and so this game and the Raiders game are at the same point at the same time. And Anthony's sitting here, he's like, I'm still wondering where our first round pick is. Tyree Jackson, I think, or Tyree Jones, whatever the fuck his name is. And I was like, one, he has not, like, fun fact, he has not gotten a single quarterback pressure this year. He's like, I didn't need to know that. I was like, yeah, because I told you when you drafted him that was a bad draft pick. Because you should have took Christian Gonzalez. Because he was the pick you needed. Because at this point, Anthony is saying, our secondary is dog shit. And it shouldn't be because we're better than this. I'm like, you're not. You shouldn't because you should have Gonzalez.
It's Max Crosby and everybody from the dollar store.
Yeah, they shouldn't have drafted, like, but this is before Chandler Jones decided he was going to go on these CTE rants and get cut from the team. Taking Homeboy, the edge rusher that they took, shouldn't have been the pick. Shouldn't have. You already have two good edge rushers. You just suck in the secondary. I don't know why you didn't go secondary.
Yeah, linebacker and secondary is a problem for them.
But yet, who cares, right? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Just like I was told, I know I was talking about Mac Jones. Mike had inside information on Mac Jones' Pee Wee football coach. Oh, Mac Jones got that dog in him. Yeah, sure does. He's a dirty player.
When you're at Alabama and you have Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle,
John Mechie, Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. I got this offensive line. I ain't got to see all the time day.
Every player on the defense in the NFL.
Every freaking wide receiver skill position I've had is in the NFL. Yeah, you know what? We know there's only like Tua's like the only Alabama quarterback.
That is actually a really, really good quarterback.
Yeah.
Mike will argue Jalen Hurts, but Tua's the best out of the three.
There's a reason Mac Jones was behind Jalen Hurts and fucking Tua. He won that national title. Come on now. Yeah, Devontae Smith won the Heisman, not Mac Jones. Mac Jones threw him the ball. Wide receiver won the Heisman. The quarterback didn't win that. Quarterback's been dominating the Heisman except for like a running back.
Yeah. Mac Jones is not very good. Let's take a look at Mac Jones' stat line. 12 for 21, 150 yards, 2 interceptions, a fumble as well. So he gave the Cowboys 14 points. Couldn't complete shit. Was sitting there just being that dumb shit out like he always is, just getting mad.
I will say this about the Patriots offense.
Don't deify Anthony. I put the link in the chat.
Where's Waldo? Where in the world's Carmen Sandiego? Who's missing? Back of a milk carton. Ramondre Stevenson.
They don't use him.
It's not even that. When they have used him, he's not been good this year.
You want to know how they're using him, Steven? They're using him in a shotgun.
Yeah. Zeke is actually been better so far this year than Ramondre.
Zeke kills on halfback draws and inside zone plays out of the shotgun. Ramondre Stevenson is, hey, we're going to sit there, we're going to hand off traditional like single back, go.
And the way, because he's only averaging like 2.9 yards a carry, Zeke is averaging better yards right now, especially even last week Zeke did better than him too. And
they said before this game that they were preparing Zeke to be taking more starting reps.
Yeah, and I'm already thinking he's about to be phased out pretty soon.
Yeah, Ramondre's going to be out because he's not great in the pass game. He's not doing well out of the shotgun. This is like when the Eagles got rid of LaShawn McCoy to go get DeMarco Murray. Because what they were doing in that Chip Kelly offense was not how DeMarco Murray runs the football. Especially coming from Dallas at that time, where Dallas had the best offensive line in football by a fucking million miles. And it was like, yeah, we're going to run between the tackles. We're going to punch you in the face. And DeMarco's going to fucking score by like a 25-yard run because he's untouched. And then you bring him into that Chip Kelly system, which is so much more speed. And you're trying to get the quarterback off and loops on RPOs and all that shit. It didn't work. You come in and bring in Bill O'Brien, who's trying to make Mac Jones throw the ball 40 times a game. Yet Ramondre is only getting 14 carries.
And another thing is, why are we throwing the ball 40 times? You have no fucking receivers. Let's
We didn't see 40 today because Mac got benched at 21, but they've consistently been throwing the ball like 40 times a game, 35 to 40 times a game, and it didn't make sense to me in week 1 against the Eagles. It didn't make sense to me against the Dolphins. It didn't make sense to me at all.
And Mac Jones, it not only is like he had a meltdown, he lost his confidence, anything else, he's fractured right now. So I'm interested to see if Bill's going to go back to him.
Bill said he's going back to him.
Yeah.
Bill said, we saw enough from Mac. He is our starter going forward, which a lot of Patriot fans were actually very shocked about because they have said that Bill has not been very supportive of him at all. And it's just like, it's a double-edged sword, right? So when you're Bill Belichick and you don't support your quarterback, your fan base wants you to stick behind him. But when you're Robert Saleh with the Jets and you're trying to stick by your quarterback, everybody's shitting on you for sticking by him. It's a double-edged sword. You're never going to be able to handle it correctly.
A lot of the old Patriots fans that were Patriots fans back in the day when they sucked, they're like, this reminded me of these the quarterbacks from back in the day. He's played worse than them.
A lot of people don't know, man. We tried telling Hunter about this years ago. Like, there's going to come a time where the Patriots just aren't good.
Yeah.
I was like, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and there is a time where the Patriots were not good.
They're back. They're back. They're back to sucking.
And all is right in the world because I was right. I would just like to let the record show that I was right. Don't worry, Anthony will come around on Mac Jones too. Remember last year when he came around, he was like, you know what, you're right, Mac Jones sucks. And then he came back and was like, nope, I still fear the Patriots because Tom Brady. Why do I fear the Patriots?
Tom Brady, he's not there. He doesn't
12
exist
ain't there. Only success Bill O'Brien's ever had in his career is with 12.
All those coordinators, all the Patriots that's ever gotten a job, if 12's not there, they're right back.
The only one that doesn't count is Daboll. Because Daboll went with home McDermott.
Yeah.
In Buffalo, so he's no longer a part of that Belichick tree. Let's see. We could go to Patriot defensive coordinators. We could check out how Brian Flores is doing. Because he needs to be fucking fired. He's bad. He's real bad.
Oh, yeah. And the Cowboys, they need the red zone problem's still an issue. This thing right here, they stay in shotgun the whole time they're in the red zone. They don't go under center, and they don't have two tight end sets, and they don't run the ball well.
Nope.
Like, when you guys get in the red zone, simplify it. Get under center. Quit calling out of shotgun. You can't come out in the red zone. There's no space. You could do all that shit when you start at 25. You have space. You have 80 yards to run down the field. You only have like 20 yards. Shit gets tight. The corners and safeties don't have to move. They have the end zone at their back. Do something. Run the ball under center. Do some play action shit. Get rolling. They have to get out of shotgun. They're too much shotgun every time they get in the red zone. That's why they're struggling.
Mac should have had 3 interceptions, if we're probably more. But I remember a third one, Jaron Kearse dropping one right before halftime.
That drive.
Yeah.
They were back to back. It got tipped and we missed it, and then Kearse karate chopped it down.
It was a nasty game for the Patriots. Who do the Patriots have next? The Saints. They could win that game. And then they have the Raiders. They can win that game too.
Oh God, well, I don't know.
Listen, if we're gonna have Belichick versus the Belichick disciples, then
Belichick McDaniels too. Remember what happened last year? The Raiders knocked the Patriots out the playoffs.
Hey, who knows? Yeah, but they definitely had a better quarterback playing last year too.
Oh yeah, way better.
All right, and that's it. We already got to Jets, Chiefs.
We didn't do 49ers,
Cardinals. 49ers, Cardinals, yes. This Niners team is the best team in football. I said it last week when Mike, we did the pod, and Mike was like, hey, who do you think is the best team in football? And I was like, well, the Cowboys are out because they have too many injuries, and I can't rock with that. I will go with San Fran until further notice. He went with the Miami Dolphins. And what happened with the Miami Dolphins, I don't want to say I expected the Dolphins to lose by fucking 28 points, but I did expect them to get humbled a little bit because they were getting a little crazy. But the Niners also have yet to really play anybody.
Here's the Niners thing.
The Niners finally play somebody on Sunday Night Football next week.
But the Niners run the same scheme the fucking Dolphins do, but they're a more physical team at that. So that's why when they play, if they were to play Buffalo's defense would struggle because they're a more physical team.
Buffalo's defense get ran out of the fucking arena because Trent Williams will go out there and start punching people.
Unless McCaffrey don't suit up, this team, you got to take this. They are undefeated ever since Christian McCaffrey in the regular season. Ever since Christian McCaffrey came on to the team.
Their schedule is so easy because their division sucks. So it's like this is really them, and depending on what version of the Browns play, and the Eagles. Like and the Ravens. So they have like 4 games where you really can like test
The
out.
Rams. They struggled against the Rams the first time
They
they played.
always do. That's the little brother game with McVay and McDaniel and Shanahan. So they'll struggle, but like I don't know. I would like to see.
It's going to happen. They're going to lose. They're not going to go undefeated. They're going to have a game where they're bad when they have to make. They're going to have a game.
I would love for the Cowboys to smack them.
I believe in it when I see it.
I would love to see it because this is old school rivalry. You have 2 really good defenses. It's tough without Trayvon Diggs playing because they just scheme everybody open. They do a great job with it, and Trayvon Diggs helps take that away. Where's the offensive line at?
Weaknesses.
Is your offensive line healthy yet, or what?
Yeah. Oh, everyone played except for Tyron Smith.
Okay, so you guys will be all right there.
Yeah, that's what happened today. They couldn't get no fucking. That's why I did good. The whole offense.
Everybody but Tyron played.
We have yet to have our starting offensive line for 25 straight games. Our whole offensive line as a starter for the Cowboys for 25 straight games.
As long as the Cowboys can keep the protection and do that thing they did against our defense, where it's like, hey, we're just gonna throw CeeDee Lamb the ball fucking 40 times.
What they have to do is you make Brock Purdy play quarterback. What happens in San Francisco, it's going to happen. It's NFL. When they get down 14-0, if they're down 14-0, what's going to happen? How are they going to change? Because when you have to take Brock Purdy, can't make his easy reads, his one read, his little screens, his little wide receiver screens, his little running back screens, this one play action to the tight end, or looking down one receiver the whole time. When you take that away,
Brock Purdy got credit for a 28-yard touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey that was behind the line of scrimmage.
no air yards on his freaking
Like, listen, so this game will answer a lot of my Brock Purdy questions. If this is a adversity game, like punch you in the mouth, like a game I think it's going to be, we'll see how Brock Purdy comes out of it.
The Cowboys team is not a physical team. They're a finesse team.
On defense, it is.
Yeah, on defense, is a finesse team. They need to be. They want to be physical. They got to show it.
Well, as long as if Tank can do the thing Tank does on the weaker side of the offensive line, and Micah Parsons is flying around all over the place.
What happens is all the team when they run on, they got to show they can stop the run. Patriots suck. Of course, they're going to stop the run. What happens is they make Micah Parsons make decisions, and that's when they struggle. Like last week, Micah Parsons could have tackled the quarterback. He was back there, and for some reason, he just did not grab him, and he ran down the field like 60 yards. What they do, Philly did it that one game. They beat him, even though they didn't have Dak in there. Yep. They were like, oh, if he's over here, we're doing this. If he's in the middle, we're running. If he's over here, run away from him. Shanahan can scheme him out of the game. Is what else they can do. They got to play really. They got to be complete on defense in order to beat the 49ers.
All right. So our Sunday slate's gone. Tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, we have Seahawks Giants. Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Seahawks. It's going to be a shootout.
Am I? You think it's going to be a shootout?
Yeah, I'm thinking like 35-32, somewhere around there.
Really?
The Seahawks defense sucks. The Giants defense sucks.
I think the Seahawks defense is better than the Giants offense.
Huh?
I think the Seahawks defense is better than the Giants offense.
Well, listen. Who have they stopped?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're good, but I think they're better than that.
They can try to be, but
because the Giants wide receivers don't match up well against the Seahawks corners.
They'll find a way.
We'll see how the Seahawks pass rush does because their offensive line is in shambles. So,
Daniel Jones running the ball is going to happen. Then it's going to.
They'll be in the game.
Because there were some plays last week against the 49ers where the Giants could have won that game, and they didn't. And the 49ers defense is way better than Seattle's defense.
Way better, yes. But it's on the backside, they're not. Huh?
Is Jamal Adams coming back to that game?
Supposedly. You know what is crazy is there's a world that the Jets paid Jamal Adams and he just never played a snap of football. That's the world we live in.
Is he going to be
it's not really the disrespect. The Giants also aren't a good football team.
Yeah, but the Giants, I think the Giants will lose, and it'll be like a 28-35 something game around there.
I don't know. I don't think. What's the spread on that game?
What's the money line on that game? What
are the odds? It is currently
points over under. What?
1.5 point spread. Over under is 47. Over under is 47. The Giants are plus 107. Seahawks are minus 127. Seahawks are 2-1 against the spread so far this season. Giants are 0-1 straight up at home. So,
Geno revenge against the Giants.
Mike, let me ask you this. What part of the Giants defense makes you think that a team that has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Noah Fant can't put 40 on it?
2 rookie corners?
Like, the Giants start 2 rookie corners. The pass rush doesn't exist.
They suck.
Kayvon Thibodeau just doesn't pay attention on the field half the time.
Thibodeau is looking like a bust.
And then on the run side, Kayvon Thibodeau doesn't doesn't set the edge.
Here's the other thing, though. Is Geno going to have both his tackles?
I honestly don't think
it matters. Without his tackles, his left and right tackle.
Because Geno hung like 33 on the Lions, right?
Yeah.
Geno hung 33 on the Lions, and their defense is better than the Giants' defense. 37 on the Panthers, and the Panthers' defense is better than the Giants' defense.
They can score.
Yeah, 37 on the Lions. Yeah, if they could score 35 plus on 2 teams that have equal to or not better defenses, then yeah, they can score 40 on the Giants.
I think the Giants are good at what?
But I also don't think they're going to score 40. I think it's going to be like if it is 17-31. If I were to pick a score of 17-31.
What are the Giants good at? Saquon is not playing.
Saquon Barkley is what they're good at.
Downgraded. He's not playing.
He already was out, though. He was already out to be expected 3 to 4 weeks anyway, so he never was going to play this game.
If he was he moved down from questionable to down.
He was questionable. I knew he wasn't playing that game fucking 2 weeks ago.
Downgraded on Saturday to doubtful, so that means he's definitely not playing.
No, he's not playing. I'm not. I never thought Saquon was. I wouldn't expect. So the Giants, he got hurt. What game?
The Arizona game.
The Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
So they said he was supposed to miss 3 weeks from the Cardinal game. So he won't be back at the earliest, maybe the Dolphins next week.
Well, that'll be an L2.
I wouldn't be surprised if they drop 40, Mike, but I personally wouldn't say 40.
No, they're gonna want Charbonnet and Walker to go 1-2.
That's what's gonna be a problem is Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet going back and forth. Just 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards. Oh, here's a 35.
And that's without the freaking both tackles, both starting tackles the past 2 weeks.
So that's gonna be. That game's gonna be interesting. I'll tune in, obviously, because we talk sports on this show, so I'll have to watch. But yeah, I'll probably be playing Starfield while I'm watching it because I've been having a lot of fun with Starfield. Steven and I have to play our Madden AFC Championship game to see.
Let me tell you about this Madden game that happened. It's like, we're gonna play because he was talking a lot of shit yesterday. Like,
not me.
Huh?
Not me.
Yeah, no, not you.
Yeah,
he was talking a lot of shit.
We play with.
He was talking a lot of shit. He was like, I'd rather play Steve's team. I'd do good at Steve's team. And then he was talking shit about my Justin Fields. He said, Justin Fields do nothing. I'm like, okay. He always beats you, though.
To be fair here, he has beaten you.
Yeah.
He has beaten you. The difference here is I have never let Brandon hang in a game. I've never let him hang in a game. I've never let him think he's in the game.
The last game we played was straight horseshit. The warping shit. There was no warping this game because it was over in the second quarter. He was ready to use waving the white flag in the second quarter. It was 35-0 in the first half.
Yesterday, so I let him score two touchdowns off rip, and you remember him saying, "Oh, are you letting me have this? Like it's almost like you're letting me score. Like this is so easy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm letting you have this. I'm trying to see what you're calling because you're coming out in a new formation. I don't know how you call out of here, so I'm playing back to see exactly how you're doing. I'm playing chess here." And then he proceeded to just abandon running the ball, do all this stuff, and then he just started turning over the ball. Like I scored in 3 plays. So I told him flat out, listen, I'm letting you have whatever you want. I can score whenever I want. I'm not worried about that. I can score whatever I want. I'm trying to see how you're calling this defense, so I'm playing conservative.
This ass whooping I gave him, George Pickens was out. I've had George Pickens for 5 weeks. He comes back the week we play.
Oh, so excellent.
And my rookie wide receiver is whooping his ass. So I take the first series happens. My free safety drops interception. He comes in there, he goes boom. I'm like, oh, this picks. He drops it. So he punts. I walk right down, score a touchdown. Then he starts throwing interception. And then I'm like, he's blitzing here. I audible on my run play. I call a slant with my rookie wide receiver. House call.
Gone.
Touchdown. Because he's got 99 speed. It's like, he's splitting defenders. He's gone. And then the next time he threw an interception called play action, rookie wide receiver, he's getting all zeked up on the crossing pattern. Gone. Touchdown. That's what he's going. He's like, I'm quitting. This is I'm bored. Like, we're running with the ball. You keep throwing.
He got real mad because I blocked. So on both those touchdowns I let him get, I blocked both the extra points. I blocked both the extra points. One of them was a 2-point reversion, right? And then I returned a kick. And he was, come the fuck on, man. I was like, you act like I don't return kicks in this game. Like, I don't think anybody has more return kicks than me. Like, I just do it. You're up there, but you don't have more than me.
Not this, debatable.
Man, no. So I returned the kick. He's like, oh, whatever, that's bullshit. He's like, if you take those 2 block extra points and that kick return touchdown away, it's a closer game. I was like, you're still losing. You're still losing. It doesn't matter.
He always finds a way to lose games. He's like, I was like, I should have dominated you. I'm like, you lost by freaking 30 points. What do you mean you dominated? How?
He sits there and he's like, I just don't know. I don't get it. He's like, all you're doing is spamming the slot. I'm like, yeah, stop playing cover 3. If you're just going to play cover 3 all game, I'm going to send that guy on a fucking slot. And then I caught him. He was in cover 1. He brought everybody to the line, and I already had everybody ready to go deep. The second he moved everybody to the line before they get set, hike, boom, Christian Watson, 45-yard touchdown. He's like, you're just spamming streaks in the slot. I'm like, yeah. Stop covering, calling that. Yeah, stop it.
He's like, you can't stop your running back. I'm like, Steven stops me from running with my quarterback.
Yeah, I was like, you're the only one.
All the time, I'm like, he's just terrible with him. Like,
he just does not know how to stop Anthony Richardson. He's like, it's an exploit, it's a glitch. I'm like, it's not. You're the only one who has a problem with it. I'm not going to limit my play calling because you don't know how to stop it. He's like, all you're doing is playing man and then shade and putting your safety over Ben Perez. Yeah. Because without Ben Perez, you don't know how to run an offense. I scored 20 points. I was like, and you're still losing by 30. So who cares?
He doesn't know how to use his receivers. If he can't really, he wants to throw streaks so bad.
It's almost like when all he does is throw streaks against computer. Doesn't know how to run his offense.
But against us, he can't run streaks. He's trying to run streaks. He gets picked off every time. And I don't get all the.
He'll get one. I'll give him one. I'll do one where I don't shade the safety over just to see if he'll do it, and he still does it, and he'll get one or two.
Oh, his one-on-one with Surtain. Surtain shuts his ass down.
Oh no,
Every time.
sometimes he beats Sauce. So it's like, all right, cool.
He doesn't beat Surtain. He does not beat Surtain.
Yeah, that's crazy then. Yeah, sometimes he just gets it. He'll sit there and just throw it up, and then he gets beat. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'll just use the safety going forward, and I'll let all my other, because it's not like I don't have another 99 corner on the other side.
I don't highlight nothing. He goes one-on-one with Surtain, and it's Surtain
I user it. I'll play the middle, and then I'll start to shade over quietly once I see him make his first read to try to bait him into doing it.
I'll user it till it's time to pick it off.
All right, guys. That was week 4 of the NFL Sunday slate. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for leaving your comments. Appreciate all of you. I'm Podcast Poppy. I'm Dylan Barreto. This is Steven Barreto, the Sand Viper. We will see you next week.